9 a.m. Begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, if you could join. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let the record show all members are present, as well as Clerk Treasurer Donna Coomer and our attorney, Bo Zeller. We have an agenda that's been provided. Entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion as presented.
It's a race.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Nathan, a second by Michael. All in favor say aye.
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 You can do the next one.
That's unanimous. We have our standing business, which includes our minutes from our April 3rd meeting, our current claims. I do need to read a claim into the record. It came in a little bit late, but I don't want to delay payment on it. It's for Frost Brown Todd for general counsel, in the amount of $10,783.50. So I add that to the claims, and then our payroll allowance docket from March 20th to April 12th. And I have a copy of that invoice here if anybody needs to see it. Entertain a motion to approve.
I will make that motion.
Motion by Michael,
Second.
second by Nathan. Any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that's unanimous. I'll give you this. So Tim, I know those usually go through you, but you got a copy of that on the email so you can deduct it from your spreadsheet.
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah, that's no problem.
I didn't want to delay that to another meeting when it came through. There you go. I don't have any public comments in there, but I don't believe so. So moving straight into business, no old business, all new business. Tim Crocker will present our operator's report. Good morning.
Good morning. I have a few items for the board today, a couple to consider, one to act upon. I'll start with our general monthly report for the month of March. Utility performed very well. The guys are really starting to utilize the new equipment that we bought. They televised just a tick under 1,600 linear feet of TV work for the month of March, and almost 1,700 feet of flush. So the equipment is being utilized. This month, the month of April, will even be larger, although we did experience large rainfall events. But other than that, the utility was in complete compliance with all regulations and continues to operate as well as it can right now. October still can't get here fast enough, but there's light at the end of that tunnel.
Everything's still moving along well?
Yes, ma'am. It's going very well. An ambitious comment was made at the last project update meeting, and I don't want to tie the contractor to it, but I mean, he'd like to get started. He'd like to do startup a little before October, but August is what he said. But again, that's very ambitious in my opinion. As long as they get it done in October, I'll be happy.
Yep,
So,
same.
but if there's no questions on that monthly report, I have a couple of other items to present to the board today. The first one should have been in your packet. It is a quote for Wicked. Wicked is a software packet that is, in essence, the heart of the new CCTV truck that the city just purchased. You may ask, well, why wasn't that part of the original purchase? Because there were many options out there, and we wanted at least a 30-day trial to determine which one would fit us best. And with Scott Cochran, our newest guy, which is the TV operator, really likes this. He thinks it's going to fit our purposes good. And I'm here today to ask for approval to go ahead and issue payment in the amount of $6,500 for the software for the CCTV truck.
This is a one-time purchase?
This is a one-time purchase, yes, ma'am.
Is there an annual fee for?
There is not an annual fee.
Do we have a motion to approve?
I assume they have
they'll support it, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, and actually, they have, through our trial period, there's a young lady by the name of Letty has been very, very good to work with. As a matter of fact, we've been proactive, Nathan, to the point where we're trying to incorporate and marry, for lack of a better word, wicked and subtility, so that one talks to the other, and when an inspection is done with a CCTV truck, that it populates subtility. And if you don't already have, I would again advise anybody that's interested, I will give you access to subtility. I mean, you can literally go in to any area of the city, to any pipes that we have on that map, click on that pipe, and it'll give you all the information of what has been done or what needs to be done. So,
Good program. Oh. You first?
We don't have a motion yet.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, motion by Michael,
I'll say.
second by Nathan. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
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 That's unanimous.
thank you. The second item that I took the liberty to pass out prior to the meeting today, because it just come up yesterday afternoon, Mr. Harold Hart is asking for a notice of intent to serve, which is over on Harmony Lane. It is a subdivision of the townhomes of Southern Commons. Mr. Chase Murphy, this is typical. This is our requirement. I bring it to the board today so that it can be, I don't know the exact term, read into the records and approved by the board.
Correct. Yeah, we just wanted to ratify and approve the letter.
There's the ratify.
Capacity. The one question I had is, what's the timing of the development? Did they give you any idea of time frame when things would come online?
They did not give me a time of completion. They look to start on it ASAP.
So we have a motion to approve the notice of intent to serve with the Southern Commons project, or what's the project?
The townhomes of Southern Commons.
Yep.
I'll make that motion as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Nathan, second by Michael. Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous.
Thank you, thank you. Lastly, before I turn it over to Zach, today was the deadline for our RFP / Qs for the Spring Street project. We have received two. What I recommend to the board today, as you can see, they've not been unsealed. I will unseal them. The first one that I have before us is Mac Construction. The second one is GM Development with their partners. Once given time after the meeting, I will get these disseminated to the board, Mr. Keller and Donna, and then you guys can do what you need to do. I will include the scoring sheet for you, and I'm here to answer any questions that you might have as you go through it.
We'll turn those scoring sheets back into you, and then you will present at the next meeting, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
With a recommendation
Yes.
for award of the scoping period.
Yes.
Right,
So we're scoring?
yeah, the three of us score, turn them back into Tim.
I don't remember doing it last time,
We
did
did it.
we?
Yep.
Very
Yeah,
good.
that's fine, too. All right, thank you, Tim.
You're very welcome. I will get these out to the board as quickly as possible.
Great.
Thank you.
At this time, we have a public hearing scheduled for the Spring Street lift station improvements. Zach, did you want to address that before I formally open that hearing?
So I think you all might have an agenda that was provided, but we switched that up and put an actual PowerPoint together that we'll go over. So I'll give everybody a copy of that just so you can review. And there's 3 copies here to get one done to the mayor.
So let me state for the record that we're officially opening the public hearing, and we'll have this presentation to begin, and then people who have comments to make regarding this project will have an opportunity to make that comment following the presentation.
You're good with that? Okay. Okay, so as we've spoken about many times, the Spring Street Lift Station project, We submitted our PER before the April 1st deadline. You may just go ahead and go to the next picture. And as part of the SRF loan application process, a public hearing is required, and that's where we are here. I'm actually going to pass this around to attendance, so all this documentation that we'll supply to SRF when before we get to closing. And one other thing before I forget, the proof of publication for the proof of the notification is something else I would need a copy of. I don't think I have that, and just make sure if I can get a
Tim
copy.
said he'll send it to you.
Yes,
You might have already.
I do, I
actually,
have
I'm
it
not
from
sure.
Matt, and I will make sure that it.
Okay, thank you. I keep forgetting about that one. So anyway, the project I'm sorry, go back one slide. I'll just go over the agenda there. We'll just go over the introduction and background, needs for the project, the evaluated alternatives, and then based off of all of the aspects of the projects and the needs of the city, we determined our recommended project. And then lastly, we'll get into the costing and funding and scheduling aspects of what do we anticipate. So going into the introduction and background, as everybody I believe knows, and if anybody has any questions please just speak, yell at the back of my head, please, and I'll be happy to answer. But the existing Spring Street lift station is at the end of its useful life. It is already, I think we can argue, under capacity for the current, certainly wet weather flows that we've seen. And there is the agreed order with IDEM that includes the overflow point and aspects of this lift station that should be addressed to move with the agreed order and the compliance plan thereof. There was also within this, the idea was to combine the replacement with addressing the new developments in the near area so we can kind of hit all those birds with one stone. And so, of course, the preliminary engineering report that was submitted for the state revolving fund loan application. Okay, so the next slide will just show nice big city limits and the area of our study. The purple outline is showing you just how much of the city is received by that Spring Street lift station. It is a large majority of the city. So it is your largest lift station, so we certainly need to make sure it is functioning properly. And then off to the southwest, you see the red zone is the Shadow Brooks Farm. The green below that is Shadow Lakes, and then the yellow area to the west is additional undeveloped, it's currently unplanned, but certainly prime real estate for potential future development that might as well, if we can cover it now, all the better. So that is the area which we looked. If we move on to, we just added in here a nice pretty picture of your existing collection system and all of that collects down to the Spring Street lift station, just for a nice perspective of the existing system as it stands. All right, needs for the project. As we've already stated, we want to replace and increase the capacity of this lift station. We also want to handle the new planned developments, both planned and future unplanned developments that we anticipate with growth of the city as it stands. And then, of course, to address part of the agreed order with IDEM, both on the lift station and more specifically, the overflow detention basin, which will remain in service as it has been maintenance and is in good working order. We had 3 alternatives, 2 of which were to relocate the lift station at different points to the southwest, potentially capturing some a smaller and a larger portion of the planned and future developments. And then alternative 3 was to replace it in place and have to make the modification, and then would also then require a secondary lift station to handle those planned developments as well. So if we move on the picture, alternative 1 is where the blue line is showing the gravity sewer extension to the new lift station location there on the west side of Shadow Brooks Farm. This is the farthest away relocation, but it also will be able to capture all of Shadow Brooks Farm because it has some lower areas at the north and the west that if what you'll see in alternative 2 may not capture, but as well handle a majority of additional area that is yet to be planned. And then showing the force main heading south through Shadow Brook and then cutting across Shadow Lake under State Road 62 and then across the River Ridge development. And then up to, and discharging into obviously the new future junction box for the wastewater treatment plant project. Alternative 2 is very similar. It's just putting the lift station more to the eastern edge. The idea here was to minimize the gravity sewer and just to evaluate that as an alternative, see what kind of costs it would incur, but knowing that it would limit the developments that we could handle from that lift station. So it would be less cost, but also would require additional future projects to handle some of the areas as they get to be more known. So not as flexible, but certainly an alternative that we wanted to look into. And force main is very similarly routed on that one. Alternative 3 is replacing the lift station in place. Of course, it'll still be the larger size. We would need routing of the force main here. It was a big troublesome part because you need to run through mostly existing developments, finding easements. Finding that routing was going to be much more difficult than the force main routing on alternatives 1 or 2 as planned. And then of course, as mentioned, we would still need to put a second lift station to handle the planned developments, which would require additional maintenance, additional service to the operations staff. So an alternative that we wanted to evaluate, but added a lot of challenges that, well, spoiler alert, we didn't go this route on the recommended alternative. But those were the 3 that we evaluated for this project. Moving on to the next is the recommended project. As stated, we went with alternative 1, which had the lift station on the west edge of Shadow Brook Farm. That included over 5,000 lineal foot of the 30-inch gravity sewer interceptor extension. The lift station, which was the same in all 3, is sized as a triplex, meaning 3 pumps, where 2 of which would handle the design capacity of the 5 NGD or 3,500 gallon per minute, and the third one being a redundant. They would all be operated and exercised and moved through, but you have your 50% redundancy there. And then 14,000 lineal foot of the 18-inch force main as required. This would also include an emergency backup generator and then monitoring and controls at the lift station, but as well at the overflow basin to help in reporting to IDEA. Next one is just a repeat of that alternative 1, showing the recommended project as was submitted, as was agreed to by all parties as we've been reviewing the PER. Next we'll move into the costs as stated. I think the agenda that you all have had a better breakdown of where all those costs came, but for this we just went with the basic numbers. The collection system, 10,000 and some change, 10 million, excuse me.
I'll take this.
Sorry.
Got you.
And then once you add
Check
the,
right now, right?
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. I'd be in a lot of trouble. Then once you add the contingency, and then we did an assumed non-construction cost of 20%, we came to the total of the roughly 13.5 million for the total. And obviously this is all still an estimate. As we get through, when design comes, you get, hopefully that number comes down a bit, and that's more of your, a max number that we assume should not go up any. But that is what we came to on the preliminary engineering report. That's what was submitted. And then if we go to, I think, the last main slide here, the project financing and kind of path forward. We are in the process with SRF. This public hearing is one of the last few things we needed to do to check off that process. They close do I have the, I guess I do not. I think, oh, it's on the schedule next. So July 1st is their new fiscal year. So by July 1st, we will have, we will know where we stand in the rankings. So where the rankings depends on if you get more of their optimal financing rates, or if we aren't in the top tier, we would be in the pool financing, slightly less beneficial interest rates, but probably better than market rates. But again, still, this is an alternative that we do not have to follow, but getting to that point as a potential for financing this project is certainly going to help us make those decisions when we come down to it. And I guess moving on that last, okay, the schedule. It's tough to want to put numbers to this since there's a lot up in the air, but the last page, that estimated schedule preliminary engineering report, was submitted prior to that April 1st deadline. As Tim just mentioned, you have your proposals for the BOT. Getting that selection and scoping period would assume to cover the next few months, which would then potentially expecting to lead into the design and let's just say design and permitting process. Would be later this year into, say, Q1 of 2026. Then with the permits, give a couple months time for that to get submitted, and then closing in May, and be able to begin construction in that kind of spring, summerish time of 2026, and completing 2027. This timeline is probably not as fast as we would like, and certainly there was hopefully room for improvement on that, but this is just a rough idea of what we could expect, with all intentions to be to improve it as much as possible. That, are there,
Questions for Zach?
yeah.
Is the non-construction cost the engineering design?
That includes engineering, design, bonding, attorney fees, everything, yeah. There's a whole
Does
list
that
of.
include easements and stuff too, you may need to get?
We didn't really have a line item for easements, but since most of it is between either Dan Christiani or River Ridge, we already have some discussions on that. The expectation, hopefully, is that there's not going to be a lot of easement costs required. There are easements, but we are hoping there's going to be cooperation there.
Yeah.
Does that say,
I would anticipate cooperation, seeing as
That's-
how it starts the development.
yeah.
I hope so, but you never know.
You know, that's
I'm
true.
anticipating.
Until you put the paper
Right.
and require a signature, but yeah, there's
Okay.
potential there.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you.
Just as a real quick point of interest, Zach, what is the current capacity of the Spring Street lift station compared to the 5?
Do that, Tammy.
Current is 1.5.
I believe it's, well, the capacity of the overflow base is
Overflow,
1.8, but the station itself is like 1.7,
1.9.
I believe.
Right, I think the two pumps running together, you got like 1,600 gallon per minute out of them, and whatever that converts to.
Fair enough. I mean, my point being for the board's benefit is to understand this is coinciding with the projected growth and the projected growth is substantial.
It is
so,
substantial.
the 5 mg number sounds like an astronomical number to somebody that's not directly involved, but it's not. It's something that we will utilize sooner
Well,
or later.
with the upgrades there and the upgrades at Spring Street, because we enlarged Spring Street as well, it's
Yes,
in
ma'am.
progress now, and I think that's why we're building a larger plant as well, as to handle the collection.
Right.
So, I mean, the 5 mg is not a shock to me at all.
Good,
I think it's appropriate.
perfect.
Zach, could you send me a list of the proposed easement, like the landowners and parcel numbers? I mean, we're not going to go out there right now, but just to have an idea.
I have an idea what it absolutely can.
And on this alternative, if I'm not mistaken, I just want to verify that you've worked into this, the ramping up of the development. The flow will not be at 5 mgd on day one.
No.
So you have worked out the management of that lower flow to keep things moving through the pipes until such time as it does ramp up, correct?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because on sanitary sewers, when you are especially pumping, you want to keep that velocity within a certain range so either solids don't settle or you don't make things worse. So the expectation with the existing flows from the city plus what we anticipate at Shadow Lake, they already have their office and shop and expect to have the two. That's about half of the capacity right there. And with this being a triplex lift station, having two pumps, you don't have to run both pumps all the time. So you have one pump kick on once it gets up to 100% with VFDs, of course. Pump 2 kicks on, so you do have a nice slow pump up and pump down. So it will definitely be designed to handle the phasing of the expected flows. Yeah, excellent question.
Thank you.
You could also do that with where you put the floats to manage that as well.
Yeah, and all of that will be adjustable as it gets higher and you need to change your start and stop times. All of that will be very much workable for the operations.
Yeah.
Yes.
Other questions for Zach? Thank you. So at this time, I would invite anyone to make comment on the PER for the Spring Street lift station. That is what the public hearing is addressing. Is there anyone to make comment, public comment on this public hearing? One final call. Having received no public comment on the PER public hearing, I will officially close this portion of the public hearing.
I make a motion to close public hearing.
Thank you. We have a motion from Nathan.
Second.
Second from Michael. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing has been held and commenced. Moving through, we now have Resolution 2025-R1. This is the PER acceptance, which is what we just had the public hearing on. This authorizes the PER to be submitted to the State Revolving Fund Loan Program for review and approval. I need a motion to approve.
I'll make that
Motion
motion.
by Michael,
Second.
second by Nathan. Any final questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That's unanimous. That is all of our business, Bill, unless you had something for us.
Nothing for me.
Unless Donna had something for us with the meeting signatures. Good? All right, need a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Motion by Michael,
Second.
second by Nathan. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You're adjourned. Thank you all.